Hey everyone, welcome to Creating with Jazzy Bundles. Today we are going to make these teardrop earrings. Let's get jazzy. My name is Jenny, and this is Creating with Jazzy Bundles, the channel where we take our simple supplies from your neighborhood craft store or favorite online retailer and turn them into one-of-a-kind pieces of art. If you like this video, hit subscribe before you leave and ring the bell to be the first to see our new videos. And with that, let's get started on today's craft. For your teardrop earrings, you are going to need the following supplies. First, you're going to need to choose which type of material you want your earrings to be out of. For the earrings that I made these ones out of, I used some of the glitter canvas sheets that come from Hobby Lobby over in their ribbon section. For today's, I am going to use these rolls of ribbon that I got out of from Hobby Lobby. Again, they're kind of like they look very much like a leather type of material, but you can see that they are not. It says that it's nylon fabric and the polyurethane coating on it, but they're over in the sewing section on the ribbon areas. And I have it in this soft pinkish color and a black color. Those are going to be my two layers for today's earrings. You're also going to need the Sizzix movers and shapers dies, and this particular one has 4 dies in it, and it's 2 of the teardrops that don't have a decorative edge in 2 different sizes, and then one that has more of a pointy edge around it, and then one that's more of a scalloped edge and it's a little bit smaller. So you're going to need this, and then because we're using the movers and shapers dies, you are going to need a movers and shapers shuttle board. And this is a special board that you use with the dies that are like this from Sizzix, the movers and shapers. It's a magnetic board so that when you take your dies out, and you get ready to cut them, they just stick to the board so that when you put it through, everything doesn't move, and it works really well. So you'll need that. And then of course you'll need a Sizzix. I'm going to be using my Sizzix Big Shot Plus today, and that is it. That should be everything as far as being able to cut the dies out of your material. Now, after you cut the material out, you're going to need some findings. And so for ours today, the findings that we're going to use are these little jump rings in 2 different sizes. And I have them in a 4mm jump ring size. It's rolling away. 4mm size and a 6mm size. You can use whatever is easiest for you to be able to work with. These are the ones that I have found work the best for me as I'm making my jewelry, especially for my earrings. For the earring pieces today, I'm going to use these fishhook earring wires. And then I just thought to add something a little bit extra to these, since my colors aren't glittery sparkly like my last pair that I made over here. I have these 2 little roses that I found. I believe I got these at either Michael's or Hobby Lobby, but I usually just go up and down their aisles, and if I see something that's on clearance or on sale for just a couple bucks that have a whole bunch of these that come in matching pairs, I'll get them because they make really cute little charms on some earrings. So that's what we're going to use today. Now, to be able to work with the jewelry, jump rings, and ear wires, I use needle nose pliers. And I like the ones that when you're not squeezing them, they just open and then you just squeeze them. I like them to have a little bit of a give so that I can move them with ease. They're really good. But the longer and thinner, smaller they are, the easier they are to work with, especially when it comes to these really small jump rings. And then I believe the last thing that you're going to need is a pair of, puncher that will allow you to put the holes in your material after you cut it out so that we can get the jump rings through it. So I'm using this Fiskars. It's, I think, 1/4 of an inch. No, maybe 1/8 of an inch hole. I'm not quite sure which one this one is, but it's a Fiskars punch. It works pretty well. I have used it in these canvas glitter sheets. I've used it in leather sheets, real leather and faux leather, and it seems to be working really well so far. So you'll need something to be able to punch your holes into. And I think that is all that we are going to need. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to just move, actually, we'll move these off to the side here. The first thing you're going to need to do is cut your material down. And so I've already pulled out the dies that I want to use. The dies that I'm going to use today are the smaller of the teardrop shape, and then the one that had more of the pointy edge around the outside. That'll be the larger layer, and the layer up on top of each other. So with that, let's go ahead and bring over the Big Shot. Put it down and take the material, just lay it on top. I'm using my Cricut Cuttlebug smaller board, just so that it's not this huge board that I'm working with, but you can use the smaller one from another thing, or you can use your Sizzix one. They're actually the same size, so whatever is most comfortable for you. We have our 2 pieces cut out here. We'll move this out of the way. I have a second set already cut out for us over here. Now the next step is to put our hole in it. So the way I'm going to line these up today is so that the points line up exactly on top of each other, and then the pink will hang off more around the bottom instead of it being like more equally in the middle. It's easier to punch your holes that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the black one in first, and I like to put it, you can see, kind of as close as you can up towards the corner, but you got to be careful not to get it too close to the edge. Otherwise, otherwise it will cut right through the sides when you're doing it. So if we do the black one first, because it's not as, I guess, funky as the pink one with the scalloped edges, it's going to be a little bit different to do, and I'll show you what the trick that I use is for doing that. All right, so here's this one. Now you want these to be able to line up exactly, right? So what I do is I put it on top, lay it down. It's exactly where I would want the dot on the pink one. Take a Sharpie marker, draw a little dot in the center of that. And now I'm going to line up that dot with my punch so that when I make the dot, they'll be in the same spot. Sometimes leaves a little something on the back. No worries. All right, so now when we put these on, you can see that, look, the holes line up exactly. And same thing for this one, the holes line up exactly. And that's the base of our earring. So now it's time to get ready to use all of our findings over here in our jump rings to put the earrings together. Now, because there is such a large amount of space between the hole and the top of the earring, I like to use my bigger jump rings through the earring itself. So all you do is you take your jump ring, and when you get really close to it. It's going to be a little difficult for you guys to see here, but there is a break in them. And so I like to put my break up towards the top or away from me. And then I take my other set of pliers and I just bend them in opposite directions slightly. Just enough so that you can loop your 2 pieces of leather through the hole. We do that. Now we have our earring on one jump ring. Now the next jump ring is going to be one of the small ones. So if we lay that in here, and now we're going to close it up. So the same way we bent it to open it, we just bend it the opposite direction and it'll close up. And now they're ready to go here. So now what we're going to do is attach the we'll do that last. We're going to attach the earring to this. Now these earrings, the way they lay with where the hook or the little hole at the bottom is, they lay this way, and so the hook is straight in front of you. You need to make sure that the hook it's going on is opposite of that, or else once you get it on here, it is going to lay sideways, right? So that's one reason why we added 2 jump rings on here, so that it would help it to lay nice and straight when it's on you. So now we're going to open up this little jump ring. You could have also closed it up without putting the little jump ring on and just open the little jump ring and put the earring onto it, or your leather pieces onto it, and then the earring piece. Either way would have worked. Now you want to make sure that you put this on the correct way so that when it gets closed up, the earring loop goes through your ear the correct way. Otherwise they'll be backwards. And there we have your earring. Now we do the other side. And I'll show you what I mean by we won't put the little loop on first. So this time we're going to open our big loop, twisting opposite directions with your hands. Put on the leather pieces. Close this up by twisting the opposite direction you did the first time. Take our little earring, our little jump ring, excuse me. Open it up by twisting opposite directions. Loop on the earring, and then loop on, or I should say, loop on your material, and then loop on the earring. And now we have, and I put that one on backwards. See, it happens to everybody. Luckily, these are all really easy to open and close. So take that off, flip it around. You want to make sure it gets closed up, otherwise your earring will just come right off of it. All right, and now we have our second earring. So now, how do we get the little roses on here? Well, the easiest way is going to be to add them to this loop, the jump ring that we attached onto the material. That will be the easiest way to do it. Now, if you notice, this one goes up and down. It's not sideways, the jump ring, right? And this one, it goes up and down as well. So To allow it to lay correctly, we're going to want to use another small jump ring. So if we take our little jump ring, open it up, we'll lay our rose in here first, and then we can figure out which, as long as we lay that on there the correct direction, loop that on there, and you're going to loop it with the one that went straight through the material. And here we go. And now you have your earring. Let's do the other one and get that one finished up. And we open it up. Loop this on first, little charm, loop on the earring, close it up, make sure it's nice and tight where the ends come together closely, and we have a set of teardrop earrings. Now, as you're looking at this, you might be saying, well, your material is a little curled on the edge. You are correct, because remember, the material I used was on a spool. And so I would encourage you to lay this out nice and flat before you get started. Now that these are already made, you can lay them nice and flat. If you really want to, you could cut a piece of HTV and that'll help lay it flat. But honestly, if you just put something heavy on here, let it sit for a day or two, it gets nice and flat for you. So here's our really simple, nice, pretty earrings that we made with our Sizzix movers and shaper dies. Don't forget to click subscribe and ring the bell to be the first to see our new videos. We would love to hear from you in the comments or on social media. Show us your creations. If you enjoyed this video about making jewelry, we have this whole playlist about jewelry. And if you want to check out our other crafting videos, check out this playlist here.